Do you ever find yourself getting frustrated when people don't see things the way that you see it, or they disagree with you? Well, today we're going to talk about how to resolve a disagreement or an argument. So welcome back to Principle-Based Living. Today we're talking about how can we resolve arguments or disagreements? How can we resolve situations where we see things differently than other people? If we go back to just the basics, that everything in life we do for a reason, or we wouldn't do it. And then we look at our beliefs, and most of our beliefs are just beliefs that have been conditioned. So they are beliefs that we have accepted that come from other people. And then because we're on autopilot most of the time, we begin to think that the way that we think and that what we believe is the way that things are. And then there's the other part of this, which is that all of us struggle with how we see ourselves. We struggle with self-esteem and self-worth. And we get this idea that in order to be okay, then we have to be right, or we have to be perfect. We can't make mistakes. And so with disagreements, oftentimes we have beliefs that have been conditioned in our life. We've never even questioned them. We don't know whether those beliefs are true or not. We just accept that they are. And anytime somebody else has a belief that's different than ours, because we have this other belief that in order to be okay, we must be right. So if somebody believes differently than we believe, then that may mean that we're wrong. And if we're wrong, then maybe there's something wrong with us. And so we have this kind of well, it's not instinctual, it's learned. It's a learned response. Automatically, when we're on autopilot, we jump into defending our belief. Well, if the other person is similar to how we are, then they've got those same thought processes going on with them. That when they see somebody who differs in their beliefs than the beliefs that they have, then they have a fear that, oh no, what if I'm wrong? And if I'm wrong, maybe there's something wrong with me. So now we've got two people with different beliefs, and maybe neither one of these people ever questioning the beliefs to know what those beliefs are based on. Are they based on truth? Or are these beliefs just based on preference? So this is the way that I like it. And because I like it that way, and maybe I like it that way because I've never known anything different. Maybe that's just the way that I've been taught, and I accepted that that's the way it is. And I've never experienced anything different, and I just believe that this is the way that it should be. And this person is doing the same thing. As long as two people are in that place where I'm in that mode of defending my beliefs, we're never going to resolve the disagreement. And in fact, in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, he says that you can never win an argument. Because even if you win that discussion and somebody concedes to you that you're right, what you do is build up resentment or hurt in the relationship, and that person who lost the argument will probably try to get it back in some other way. So imposing my beliefs or the way I see things on somebody else doesn't really ever benefit anyone. I may walk away from that thinking that, okay, I won and I'm right, so I'm okay. But long term, what I probably did is harm that relationship, and it will come back to bite me in another way or another form. So how do we resolve disagreements? Well, the first step is to recognize that the way that I see the world may not be the only way to see the world. It may be one way, but there are many different ways to see the world. And it's possible that there are better ways of looking at the world than the way that I'm looking at it. I need to realize that I'm okay as an individual and as a person, and that my beliefs about how to do certain things, and my beliefs about, whether the Democrats are right or the Republicans are right, or my belief about, how to wash the dishes in the dishwasher, or how to put the toilet paper on the toilet paper dispenser, or whatever it is, that's just a belief. It's just a preference. And what is the harm in listening to the beliefs of somebody else? So just because I'm willing to listen to another person still doesn't mean that I have to agree with them. But one of the 7 habits that Stephen Covey talks about in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is to seek first to understand, then to be understood. So if I find myself in a situation where I'm disagreeing with another person, then once I recognize that, I can remember and realize that if I resist and try to impose my belief on them, it's going to meet with more resistance. And that person is most likely going to just entrench themselves in their belief and try to convince me of their beliefs. And so both of us are going to go at it, and we won't come up with a solution. But if so, I recognize that I'm in a place where I disagree with another person. What's the harm in setting my beliefs aside for a minute and seeking to understand why the other person believes what they believe? It may be that opening myself up to their belief, I may learn something that I didn't know before. And by learning or gaining that knowledge or information, it may shift my belief. And as long as I haven't tied my value to being right, then I'm okay with changing my belief. Because is it really about being right, or is it about figuring out what is true and what works in our life and what will ultimately bring me more happiness and peace and success? So I should be seeking for truth and knowledge rather than just being so concerned that I'm right all of the time. So that may be one thing that happens, is that by listening to the person, I may gain some additional knowledge or information that changes my belief. The other thing, though, that will happen is when we seek to understand another person and where they're coming from, then oftentimes once they feel understood, then their defenses will go down and they will be more likely to now listen to you and why you believe the things that you believe. And in that situation, let's say that, I listen to that person and I understand them, but I still don't agree, but maybe they're now willing to listen to why I believe what I believe. It could be that they learn something and so they shift. Or it could be that through this process, both of us learn something different, and maybe we both come up with a different belief that is better than the one that either one of us had before. So the truth is, in a situation where there's a disagreement, there are very few times where it really makes that big of a difference of who is right or who is wrong. It's usually about preferences. But either way, even if it's about preferences or if there truly is a right or a wrong, there is no harm in listening to what the other person believes and why they believe it and allowing them to explain. That may just open up a discourse where I'm able to share with them what I think. And if we're both willing to at least communicate with each other and try to understand where the other person is coming from, there's more likelihood that we'll arrive at some common ground, or that one of us may shift to the other. Or if we continue to disagree, then maybe we can agree to disagree. And maybe we then recognize that, there is no truth here. It is just a preference. And I have the ability to allow other people to prefer whatever they want to prefer. But let's say it's in a relationship, in a marriage, and there's a disagreement about the way that we should do something. Well, could I choose to accept and allow the other person to do it the way that they want to do it? Could I be okay with the towels being folded differently than the way I was taught to fold them as a child growing up? Could I change and be okay with the toothpaste being squoze from the middle of the tube instead of the bottom of the tube? Whatever it is that irritates or annoys me, I can look at myself and say, why is that really irritating me? Why is that really annoying me? Is the toothpaste more important than my wife? Is my relationship more important than how we wash the dishes? So if we turn our brain on and really begin to think about this, there are ways that we can resolve those differences. But we have to move past that idea of feeling like we need to be right all of the time. You being okay has nothing to do with you being right. The truth is, you're okay just the way that you are. And as I recognize that and open myself up to that, then I'm going to be more likely to learn more, and with that new knowledge, make decisions and choices that will bring me more happiness, more success in my life, and better relationships with others. Thanks for watching today. Hopefully you found the information useful. If it's prompted you to have thoughts or questions about things, comment below. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. And if you want to know more about who we are or what we do, visit our website at principlebasedliving.com. And if you're watching this on LinkedIn, be sure and follow me here.